Okay, everyone, we're starting. In this world, you can watch our live show right here in the studio, and you can use the green elevators behind me to visit different floors. Each floor has a teleporter that will take you to one of our build challenges and our parkour course. By the way, for all of you who didn't already know this, the name's Elijah Stanford. I'm a CBC Kids news contributor, and I'm super excited to introduce my co-host. Gemini Tate, come on out.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Elijah. I'm so excited to be here. Look at all these people. Wow. You are all in for such a treat today. Here comes the CBC Kids News Back to School check-in.
Before we start, can we take a second to look around at this place? Isn't it sick? What do you think, Tay?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. The builders did such a good job. I've been really looking forward to this, and you're probably wondering what you can do while you're watching the show. First of all, here are hidden floor panels that control the stage lights.
And we want to see who's got the sharpest eye. Can you guys find them? Later on, you will be able to destroy this big coronavirus cell behind me right up there. All that anger you have inside you for COVID-19, you can unleash it right here. Let's start the show. I have a few questions for Gemini Tay.
Questions? What kind of questions?
Oh, nothing you can't answer. Just a little quiz.
Oh, goodness. I'm not great at quizzes.
That's tough, but I'm sure you got this. So here we go. So the first question is, where was the first case of COVID-19 detected in Canada? A, Toronto, or B, Vancouver?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I'm going to go with A.
The answer is A, Toronto. Okay. The second question is, what was the date? A, January 25th, or B, February 2nd?
Wow, you're getting really specific, Elijah. I'm going to go with B.
The answer is A, January 25th. Better luck next time.
So close.
Now, question number 3. Which of the following is not a symptom of COVID-19? A, loss of smell, or B, vomiting?
B.
The answer is B, vomiting. All right.
Yay!
Question number 4. Which of the following artists has not released a new album since the start of the pandemic? A, Taylor Swift, or B, Billie Eilish?
Oh, Elijah, I got this one. It's definitely B.
The answer is B, Billie Eilish.
Yay!
Okay, that wasn't too bad. You got a score of 3 out of 4.
Hey, that's a pass.
You must have been listening to CBC Kids News because you aced that.
Thank you so much. Yes, definitely.
All right. So it's time for some really important guests. Are you guys here? It's time to come out.
Nadia, you're from Burlington, Ontario. You're 12. You wrote an article for CBC Kids News about your experience having COVID-19. You got sick in April and actually got your whole family sick.
Hey, Nadia. I've heard when you get COVID, it can be really bad. What were your symptoms?
Hi, thank you, Elijah and Gemini. My symptoms were I had a fever, I had shortness of breath, I had a cough, I had lost sense of smell and sense of taste, and I had horrible stomach pain and headaches.
Wow, that sounds like it was really hard for you. How were you able to get through it?
Well, I guess the help with my parents, because when I was sick, my mom was feeling a little bit better, so she would help me with everything. So she'd bring me food and she'd sit with me and talk with me. And I did know that it was gonna end, and I had a lot more faith because I was a kid and it wasn't as dangerous, I guess, for kids. But I had more faith in myself, and I just kept on believing every single day that I was gonna get better and better. Even I have to go through the rain to get to the rainbow is what I normally say.
I like that saying very much. So now you're back in school. What's it like to be back in school again?
Well, I love going back to school. It is kind of tough now that it's going into like the fall and the winter, and there's like a back to school cold, or it's gonna start coming the winter. People are gonna start getting sick, but it's a lot better for me now that I can see my friends again. And even if I have to wear masks and I have to social distance and everything, I would much rather be doing in school than online.
Right. And we're also hearing that some people are getting COVID twice. Are you worried about getting it again, especially going back to school in person?
I am. I am very worried about getting it again, but I do know that as long as I'm staying safe, it will be a little bit of lower risk, but I am still worried about getting it again. But I should be okay for the time being.
Nadia,
All
that's
right,
intense. So many kids wanted to know what it was like to have COVID, and it sounds awful. Thank you for sharing that. Our next guest is Mia, who's from Abbotsford, BC. Mia, you're 16 and you're going to school in person and online. You also have an Instagram account called Mental Health for Youth, where you offer mental health advice to kids.
Okay, Mia. What's it like going back to school during the pandemic?
Hi, everyone. I think going back to school has been kind of a weird transition. We used to be fully online, but now it's kind of 50-50 to be at school and online. It's a strange transition, but I am really happy that I am safe enough to go see my friends and to have an in-person kind of regular learning again. So I'm pretty thankful that we were able to make it work this year.
You're doing a mix of in-person and online school. How's that working for you?
So far, so good. I'm only taking 2 classes at a time. Well, every student is at my school. And so you attend 1 class in person and then you do your afternoon class online. So it sounds kind of weird, but it works really well. I mean, I still get to go spend time at school, but I'm not super exhausted at the end of the day. It's a nice balance.
I love that. So you run this mental health account on Instagram. How do you know you're giving kids good advice?
So it's kind of a long process to get even 1 post out. There's a lot of research and a lot of discussions that I go through with different professionals, different doctors. And after I have enough information compiled, I will start to pick out pieces that are important. And then I also go to different volunteers. Kids or other people that have to give me their input will also talk about what they think is important to them. And at the end, it's proofed again by more and more people until it's finally ready to, kind of design for Instagram and post.
You sound like you sound like the expert. Sorry about that. So what's the #1 piece of advice for kids to maintain a good mental health?
I think that communication is really key. Just know that nobody here is alone, and that if you are feeling stressed, I'm sure that there are people that feel right there with you. I know it seems like everybody needs to be isolated, but I assure you, either digitally or over the phone, in person, there's options for you to be able to talk about how you feel. You don't need to take it on alone.
That's such a great reminder. Thank you for sharing.
Now is the moment you've all been waiting for. You see this behind me? That's a giant coronavirus. Thing you've been talking about for months. Do you guys want to help me destroy it? Jump if you want to help me destroy it. All right. Okay. Oh, now it's time to say goodbye to the coronavirus. The explosion switches, and you guys are going to help me. So the explosion switches are on the right over there. All right. Everyone flip them on the count of 3. Gemini Tay, say it with me. 3,
3, 2,
2, 1.
1.
That's insane.
Hey, Elijah. Do you know if it's true that we'll have a vaccine for coronavirus in less than a year? Maybe even less than that?
Dude, I'm not an expert. I have to call one. Ring, ring, ring. Dr. Caroline Quach, it's time to come out. Dr. Quach, over here, you're a pediatrician and infectious disease specialist at the St. Justine Hospital in Montreal. Thanks for being here. Can you answer Gemini K's question? Will there be a vaccine in a year from now?
So we hope that there's going to be a vaccine. We know so far that multiple companies are working on one. So far, results are good, but we're not completely done yet with all the studies. And what has been said is that we would have probably a few doses that would come to Canada early 2021, but that won't be enough to vaccinate the entire population. But we hope that we can start by vaccinating those that need it most. So those that are very sick when they get coronavirus.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to wait a little while before we can start thinking about ditching our masks and hugging our friends again.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for that, Dr. Quach. I bet a lot of you out here also have some questions. That's why we're going to invite two of you to come up here and ask your questions to Dr. Quach. Our first question comes from Mina, who is 15 and is from Calgary. Mina, come on up.
All right, there we go.
Oh, there you are. Okay. So, would you like to ask your question to Dr. Quach?
For sure. So my question about COVID-19 is, because it's starting to get colder and the flu season is coming, how can we know the difference between COVID-19 symptoms, flu symptoms, and just the common cold to know if we are safe to go to school or not?
Yeah, that's a great question, Lena. In fact, it's very hard to differentiate between COVID-19 and other colds and flu. I think the main difference is that COVID-19 usually doesn't have just a runny nose. So if you have a runny nose, it usually comes with sore throat, fever, headache, but just a runny nose on itself is usually not that. So what we usually ask children and parents to do is, if you have first symptoms of a cold, you wait out to see if there's a second symptom that comes along. And if you do, then you have no choice but to get tested. Usually COVID-19 will present with fever, headaches, and muscular pains all over. So you're going to feel that you've been hit by a truck without having ran a marathon the day before. So if any of those three symptoms occur, then it's more likely than not to be coronavirus. And if you lose your sense of smell or taste, then it's usually COVID-19. But as for the other more subtle symptoms, there's not much you can do but to get tested to be able to know which one it is.
Thanks so much, Dr. Quach, for that. Our next question comes from Colin, who is 11 and from Toronto. Colin, are you there?
In Montreal and Toronto, why do the restaurants have to close but the schools stay open?
Well, you see, that's a great question. We think as grown-ups that school is more important than being able to go to a restaurant. And so we want children to be able to go to school, see their friends, see their teachers, and learn, because otherwise there would be a risk of you being disinterested in school. The reason why restaurants had to close was that it was, as you know, what the CDC says was the area where coronavirus was more likely to spread. As you know, COVID-19 spreads by respiratory droplets. So that means that when you speak, you talk, you cough, you sing, those little drops are coming out of your mouth and might have viruses in them, and those little droplets might fly away to other people. And when you are sitting at a table with people that are not from your direct household, then you could get infected or infect someone else. And that's why people decided to close restaurants. But it was very important for all of us that children be able to go to school, because that's what you have to do, and that's where you are going to learn much more than sitting in your house learning through a virtual computer or iPad.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks again, Dr. Quach. Well, that's the end of our live event. But the good news is that this Minecraft world lives on.
Okay, everyone. Take the elevator and go to the build challenges. See if you can beat our parkour coach. It's super hard. And don't forget to explore our celebrity path. Find guest celebrities who have messages for you. They're off the rainbow path.
I can't wait to see what you guys build. Gemini Tay and I are going to come and join you guys shortly. Actually, you guys can go and check out my emoji in the face of the face mask in the field of emojis. So challenge is on, and don't forget, you can come back tomorrow from 10 to 4 Eastern and Monday same time, same place. Gemini Tay and Elijah Sanford. Remember the name. Peace.